you hear, insert team X name, elite, you throw elite in front of it or behind it. It makes it seem like it's special when in reality, there's really not much of, although some people don't know this. I'm not trying to talk down to you like at all. I see a lot of people say that there's no elite 7U players or 8U. There actually is. I know as crazy as that sounds, there actually are teams throughout the country where they have an elite next to their name and it actually fits, where they're going across the country and they're beating the snot out of everybody, right? And I don't know, maybe this team that I'm about to put up there is one of those teams here, but the manner in which this was presented. Now, for this little boy, get it up there, Jay. Look at this kid. Look at this guy. I mean, look at him. Absolutely adorable. I hope he goes on to have an incredible career. I guess his name is Lex. Even if I knew his last name, I wouldn't say it. I saw this because this was posted by the family. So once that happens, it becomes public. And I'm always in the business of protecting young athletes, whether it's from an injury perspective or a mental perspective, or parents from being taken advantage of that just don't know better, money grabs and what's real and what's not, and all that stuff, right? All that stuff, guys. This actually is now a real thing. I mean, it went from, and this is awesome, I started seeing this I'd say about 10 years ago on Facebook. Like maybe some of my friends who got married earlier and had kids earlier than I did, like their son or their daughter would commit for volleyball or baseball, and you'd see a picture of the student athlete at the high school with their parents, with the balloons, wearing a sweatshirt of the school that they're committing to, maybe signing a letter of intent. Like, that's awesome. Like that. I remember when Stephon Marbury committed to Georgia Tech, that was over at they did that at what restaurant was that in Brooklyn? Oh my God, they did it at a restaurant. It was like a big MSG televised it. I think like Sebastian Telfair did that. That's fine. Look at where we are. We are doing signing whatever this is. Signing parties, signing reveals, signing announcements, commitments to 7U baseball. Now, I don't know anything about B3 Elite 7U. It is not to disparage them at all. It's not. All right. But because I did a little bit of research on them, and one of the things they try to do, and I love this, is that they try to incorporate faith and sportsmanship. And it's not just, listen, they're making money. Let's not be idiots. But it's not just about getting, maybe it is. Maybe I'm being naive. But at least one of their mission statements is to really facilitate, growth, spiritual growth, and all those things. And I believe that. I'm going to choose to believe them because there are a lot of good people out there, right? But just look at this at age 7U. Like, when you start this so young and so early, what does it really mean when you're 17 or 18 and you're doing the same thing, only it's for college? Think about the template of expectations. Think about how desensitized we are now becoming to this stuff. What was that? If you would have showed me that picture, 10 years ago, I would have said, forget about more. What am I looking at here? What is this? 7U. And the crazy thing is that I can promise you, just knowing the landscape is, would it stun me if at 9U there's different colored balloons and different gear? Because he's on this young man, and I'm rooting for. I hope Lex hits a bomb his first year, and I hope Lex falls in love with baseball, and I hope he's, he runs hard and he's backing up bases and he's rooting on his teammates, and I hope that young man becomes a baller. And I don't mean like by making it to the majors. I just hope that he falls in love with baseball the way it seems like he is. But then look at all the other stuff. Look at it. Yeah, it's amazing. Like, I know kids. My son he's been on the same club team for 5 years. 5. And they're good. Like, they are really good. 5 years, which is like 50 on the youth sports team. But the amount of kid, jumping around, and a lot of the jumping around is because the kid, let's just call it for what it is, kids aren't good enough. I mean, that's really what it is. That when you leave a team, like, I have always been of the mindset, and we were approached a couple of times by really good teams. Hey, what do you think about coming over here? And my response was always simple. Number one, my son has a say in that. Like, if he's really happy, we're not moving. If you're playing and you're challenged and you're playing competition commensurate with what your skill level is, which he definitely does. Some of these kids are great, right? And you're happy and you have friends on the team. Now, listen, eventually there's going to be a change, right? But those are the things that should matter. And if I can only imagine, I'm not on any of these. I can only imagine what some of the threads look like. The moms and the dads complaining about where my son's batting, why is he not playing shortstop? Why is he not catching? Some of the dads standing in the outfield. This is bullshit. What's going on? I mean, it is rough. And then the other thing too, I guess I'm going on a little bit of a youth tangent here. The other thing that I've noticed, I don't do this. I'll never do this. I don't understand the amount of parents that drink at these games now. I think it is wildly irresponsible. I can't prove it, but we get deluged with this stuff every day. Some lunatic parent cursing out the some lunatic coach having a fist fight with the other coach, some lunatic kid pushing the umpire, some lunatic dad instructing his pitcher to throw a fastball in the opposing dugout, which happened, I think that was in Texas at the start of the season, like 5 months ago. It is the Wild West out there. I can't prove it, but I feel like a lot of that is rooted in alcohol. I just do. You just become more brazen. You just become more loose. You just kind of say things. And I mean, I see parents, humping coolers, and I see parents banging back Yetis like they're at a concert. You're at a youth game. What are you doing? It's just not a good, I'm not trying to preach, but is that really where we are? I understand it's a long haul. I mean, you're at these fields, depending upon when you play. Do you play back to back? Do you play 3 games in a day? How far do you have to travel? I understand it's an arduous commitment. But if you can't make the commitment without, getting half in the bag, then maybe you should reevaluate it, But the jumping of teams, and I hope this young man, Lex, stays with them forever and has a great, and again, not about making the majors, not even about getting a D1 scholarship. I just hope that someday when he's a father, that young boy, Lex, when he's a father, if he's a father, that he's going to love the game so much that he's going to teach his son or daughter the same virtues that, hopefully he's being taught now. He's going to pass it on, pay it forward. Like, that's really my hope, that you learn how to compete and that you learn how to use sports as an asset to get through life. Really. Now, some kids are just good, and some kids are getting rides, and some kids are getting drafted, and somebody's making the majors. But the focus and the shift has to change. But when it's all about money, and there's like too many people, there's this connection. Hey, if I jump to team X, I'm going to win more. Yeah, you will. But is your child actually improving? Is he really improving? Like, there is no connection to the amount of rings or ribbons or whatever else you have up on the trophy case outside of home run balls, because that's actually an accomplishment, right? Or game balls, right? But all the other stuff, just because you're winning doesn't mean you're getting better. Are you really getting better not playing? Are you really getting better having 3 at-bats over the course of a weekend because you're the 12th or 13th best kid on the team? Are you really getting better having 2 at-bats over the course of 2 days because the club team that you play for is so solely focused on winning that they bring 2 or 3 kids down every week that weren't on the roster first weekend of the season? And by extension, your son or daughter, softball, whatever sport it might be, gets pushed to the back end? I mean, it happens all the time. I see it.